because he looks good. I mean, he scored 2 good tries on Friday before he got injured.
Yeah, he was looking a lot sharper the last 3 or 4 games as well.
Yeah, it's 5 tries in 3 games since he'd been back, I think, and it's a real shame. One of those players who seems like a really nice guy as well. Seems sensible, seems to have his head screwed on about things, and also seems like a thoroughly nice guy. It's really sad that his career has been hindered so much by injuries. I feel like it was in the early days of his career as well, and then he got a couple of chances at places, but it's never quite then consistently been able to get himself on the field in the last few years. It's real sad.
Yeah, appearing at Hunslet 2020 probably.
Hull KR have extended the loan periods of forwards Daniel Murray, Louis Johnson and Harvey Livette, and sort of on the back of this, really, Salford have extended the loan stay of Ryan Lannon for another month as well. He was like a swap deal for Daniel Murray, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And have you seen the Salfords have tweeted about this? And maybe Warrington has started to receive some return fire for some of their social media antics, because the tweet says Ryan Lannon has extended his loan stay at the club for another month. Blake Austin is not part of this deal, despite the halfback spending Friday evening in Ryan's pocket. So,
fair play.
Sharp work there. I'm sure that's going to get plenty of positive reactions and bites as well, which is all part of the entertainment, it seems like.
We've beaten you lots of times, shut up. Yeah, etc, etc.
Yeah. If Warrington dish it out, they've got to be happy to take it back on the other side. And another later in the day news line on the Super League front: London halfback Morgan Smith has penned a new 2-year deal with the club. The 21-year-old who joined him from Warrington for this season has signed the contract now that'll see him remain down in London until the end of 2021. I mean, I'm not sure where this will stand if they get relegated or not, but he seems to have fitted in well at that club, and there was suggestions that maybe he might have been looking elsewhere with his contract up there, but secured his future in the capital.
Yeah, well done to him. So the Rugby Football League have confirmed this year's Championship Grand Final will be played at the home of the highest ranked side. Some clubs wanted to see the Championship showpiece event move to a neutral venue, but the RFL has clarified it will not be happening this year. The governing body has notified clubs it will be held at the home of the highest placed team playing in the final. As things currently stand, Toronto would host the Grand Final at their Lamport Stadium, home in Canada. I'm going to categorise this under one category: not news. It's things happen as they were expected to.
Yes, but in Rugby League, Tim, and in the Championship over the last few years in particular, that is news. Anyway, they've come out, they've put to bed any conversations that something different should happen. I'm sure if the top ranked side was Lee or Bradford, there wouldn't have even ever been a conversation necessarily, because no gobby chairmans might have tried to start them. So I just think, look, it's what they all agreed to play at the start of the year, so play it.
Yeah. Anyway, more Championship news.
Yes, Channel 4 has apparently expressed an interest in broadcasting Championship Rugby League. RFL Chief Executive Ralph Rimmer has confirmed in a Championship and League One meeting held last week that the free-to-air broadcaster were one of 3 companies that had held discussions with the RFL about future broadcast deals post 2021. So,
I've got two points on this one.
Go on.
Expressing an interest and doing anything about an interest is very, very different. So I wouldn't get too excited from a first point of view.
Yes, on that count, it's interesting that the person putting this story forward is the party that are obviously going to be the party that are trying to make themselves appear good here. This is more beneficial from a PR angle for the RFL than it is for Channel 4. Not that it's bad for Channel 4, either way, but it's more beneficial for Ralph to say, look, I'm doing something.
Yeah. We've forgotten he existed. The second one is the championship. If we were going to get any product on, well, I suppose it's to an extra point actually. What form is that in being broadcast? Is it going to be a highlight show put on at 1 a.m? Yeah, similar to, in which case, why bother? Is it going to be, a match on a Sunday afternoon? They're very different prospects. So, one or the other. But then also, is the championship the product that we should be putting onto, counting Super League out, because that's already got the TV deal and will be the most marketable from a TV deal point of view. Would it be better to put the women's Super League or the PDRL or something like that into some sort of package and put that on?
Well, you wonder what level of package it might be anyway, and because all these things come at a cost, and you can't imagine that 50,000, potentially 50 to 80,000 people might want to watch a game. I don't think they'll be falling over themselves to do an outside broadcast with all the cost of that. It might be that they go for a highlights type package and then have supplemental kind of streams, so they mirror the R League stream through their website or on their sub channels or something along those lines. That seems like a more realistic way it's going to go. I don't think that Channel 4 or BBC or Sky, who are rumoured to be the other two parties, will be talking to the RFL about paying money into the RFL. It will be more the RFL saying, how can we come to a mutually beneficial deal here where this gets shown and it doesn't cost us a load of money to get it shown. That's the way round I think this is going to work. So it'll be for exposure and not for huge financial gain, I would suspect. The clubs might be able to get better sponsorship deals and that sort of stuff, but I don't think the broadcasters will be like throwing money into the RFL hugely here. So when you factor all that in, yes, you're right. Would Women's Super League be a better angle? But it's an amateur game at the moment. We're going to talk about that potentially later. It's an amateur game, Women's Super League at the moment. So I just think it's good that conversations are happening, and we shouldn't knock it too much.
No.
But also, like you say, put the brakes on here, and let's not think that this is a deal getting ready to be done that's going to make people lots of money.
Yeah.
What else has been happening in the Championship?
Widnes have signed Warrington forward Ellis Robson on loan for the rest of the season. Robson, who's 20, recently plays against the Vikings for Rochdale and has also turned out for Dewsbury this season. So he joins the multiple club on dual reg club, most prominent member of which is Jimmy Meadows, who I think has turned out for 5 different clubs this season.
Well, he won't be turning out for any at the moment because he's got a 4-game ban.
Yeah.
But let's try and guess then who he's been at. He must have played at the Broncos and the Scholars and Coventry.
Yeah.
And Sheffield, where he got banned.
Yeah.
That's as much as I can get. But 3 teams in one division when none of them are the team that pay your wages, that's pretty good going for Ellis Robson. A couple of Swinton news lines. Fullback Matty Ashton has signed a new 1-year contract, as has utility player Jack Hansen, both signing new 1-year deals at the Inform Swinton Lions.
Yeah. Now some very exciting news. The England Knights will play Jamaica in a historic international fixture as part of both countries' countdown to the 2021 Rugby League World Cup. The match will be played on Sunday, October the 20th. At, I believe, at Headingley.
Oh, sorry, yeah. I think I've edited the news article. I copied and pasted a little bit too much there, yeah. Emerald Headingley?
Yeah.
So the weekend after the grand final, that will be played, which is, I think, really good. It'd be interesting to see what squad the Knights put together for that, because you'd think some of the Knights squad might be involved in the England Nines tournament potentially, But shall we lead into the revised England Knights performance squad off the back of that story?
Yep, so Harry Newman from Leeds is amongst additions to the England Knights squad. So Leeds centre Harry Newman and Huddersfield forward Oliver Wilson, who are both members of the England Academy team who beat the Australian schoolboys last autumn, are joined by London Broncos duo Jordan Abdul and Rob Butler in the revised England Knights performance squad to prepare for the autumn's fixture against Jamaica.
Yeah, a couple of other players that get in there. Mike McMeekan is in there. I guess he drifted out of any sort of England squad contention over the last 12 months, but he's back in the Knights performance squad, having played a couple of times for the senior team.
Joe Greenwood and Rob his community club is a club that doesn't actually exist anymore in the Staines Titans, but there we go. That's good fun.
Joe Greenwood and Rob Mulhern dropped down from the previous England Elite Performance squad, so they're back in the Knights squad, which I think both were in the Knights squad last... No, Rob Mulhern was in the Knights squad last season. And Josh Bowden, he's called up to the Knights squad as well. Ollie Holmes, Adam O'Brien, Oliver Roberts, Dean Headley and Harvey Levett are omitted from the previous squad that was announced.
Yeah.
And I guess we're not... Shall we run through all the names? Or...
No, you will have found out by now.
Let's do the Elite Performance squad then. Headline news. Yep. Warrington Wolves standoff Blake Austin has been added to the England Elite Performance squad for the remainder of the 2019 season. For the next lots of meetups that the squad will have. Parramatta-born Austin, who's 28, has 19 tries in 24 games for the Wolves and is qualified for England by virtue of his parental grandmother. Is he still leading the Man of Steel? He's up near the top.
Must be there or thereabouts, yeah. Kevin Sinfield has said something uninspirational about it as well. I can't be bothered to read that out.
No. But other players to maybe talk about. Obviously, Callum Watkins is now in the NRL, so he's no longer in this squad because it's an England-based squad only. Adam Milner's the other person who's dropped out of the squad alongside Mulhern and Greenwood, but Milner seems to have missed out on any of the squads altogether. I think that's probably fair based on his form to the last 2 weeks, when he actually seems to have got himself together a bit. But yeah, expected, wasn't it? That we were shocked that he was in the squad earlier on in the season, wasn't we?
Yeah, and we had the debate with him about him last year. Where does he play in an international team? We still don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think his performance
to play internationally.
I don't think his performances last year answered any questions, so that's fair enough.
Yeah. So the squad is then, basically made up of everyone who made it up before. All the injured players still in there, like Gale and Stevie Ward and
Sean O'Loughlin,
Johnston, and people like that.
Sean O'Loughlin.
Yeah, Sean O'Loughlin, who's less lengthy injury, and James Roby as well, similarly. But yeah, that's that. Any comments on Blake Austin?
Why? I think that's exactly the right thing. He should be in there.
If he said he's committed to playing for England now, and that's what he wants to do, then I'm all for it. I don't see a problem if he's the best player at the time and is one of the best in Super League so far this year, then you've got to have him in the squad, haven't you?
Exactly. I think you've got, it gives you options, and definitely as an international player, he's lighting up Super League. You wouldn't bet against him doing well.
No, and he'll have a point to prove as well on the international scene. And I do think he's bought into Super League, and I think he got that from the off when his deal was first announced, when he came over here early, stayed over here through the Christmas periods, and I think he's bought into trying to make this deal at Warrington a success, and I think this comes hand in hand with that. I think I don't think that is just doing it. Kind of, there's been some players who've ended up playing for England over recent years who I don't think have really bought into playing for England. I'd say Chris McQueen was a primary example of that. Maybe the shining example of that. I don't feel like Blake Austin's in that boat.
Yeah. What was the centre? from Australia that was just a complete bizarre one.